Hi everyone, I'm Harley D, and today I'm going to be teaching you how to make bass like this
Chaos Theory.
and like this.
Chaos.
Okay, so let's get straight into it. Right, I'm just going to start by playing the track. Let's just have a listen to it, and we'll listen to the basses we're going to be going over.
Chaos Theory. Chaos. 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 Chaos.
Okay, so yeah, there's the different basses we're going to be making. So they're all made in Serum, and then there's some post processing on after. But as usual, we're gonna break it down from Serum and then look at the post processing. Um, so yeah, let's get straight into it then. Right. So what I'll actually do is I will take off all of the post processing now, and we can listen to the patch on its own. So let's have a listen to it without the processing on. But yeah, the processing is quite simple. There's not too much to it. Just a bit of saturation and EQ, and clipping at the end, and some chorus, I think. So yeah, let's have a listen to this. Okay, so how's that being made? So let me open up Serum. So the first thing we're going to have to do is to use the noise oscillator as a low mid oscillator. So what I'm going to do is leave all of the noise files. Well, essentially they're just sine waves basically. But what you'll do is download them, or you can create them yourself if you want. I'll show you what they are, and you just go into your documents and then you look for the Extra folder, and then open it up, and you'll see the noises and presets subfolders. So you just put all of the noises that I'm going to give you in the download link in that folder. And what they are is just sine waves tuned to certain frequencies. So, for example, if I'm playing in E, I want the low mid frequency to be B2. Um, so what I've done is created a sine wave at B2 and called it this file here. And I've done that for D, D sharp, E, F, F sharp with the so basically I've made the octave, the two octaves up, octave up, and then 7 semitones up. Sine wave for it. So yeah, let me just quickly play one. So I'll show you the one I'm using in this case because I was starting in E. So yeah, I'll just play that and just show you what I mean. So it's a sine wave set to 0 dB at B2. Let's have a look at that on span. So you can see, there we go, B2. And yeah, so if I wanted to play in F, I would be using C2 as my low mid. So yeah, that's the first thing I'll show you before we get into it, because that's going to be part of this process. So let's start off with this first one then. I'm going to turn everything off, and we'll have a listen from the very start. Okay, so we've got the sub oscillator. It's down -2 octaves, going direct out, and the level is starting at 44. And my master, just to show you, I've set at about 3.5 dB, -3.5. Keeps changing there. Yeah. So let me just quickly have a look at the notes, just so you can follow along if you want to try and create this bass. So yeah, it's D sharp 2, and you can see there's the pattern. So basically, this patch is for like little stabby notes. Basically, it won't carry on past that. It'll just be a sub. So yeah, you got to program it as like short stabby notes to get the most out of it. So yeah, we got the sub going direct out, and then we're using Oscillator B. I'll turn the filter off now. So let's have a listen. So not too much there. It's just been dropped down -2, and I'm using on Oscillator B. I'm using the digital folder, the dist C2 waveform, and I've turned the pulse width modulation up to 25. So yeah, I've just chosen PWM there. And the first LFO comes into play here with the level of the of Oscillator B. So you can see here's the shape I'm using. It's on trigger mode. And yeah, that's just over 1/2 rate. And let's just have a quick look in the matrix. LFO1 is going to the B volume at, double click that. So it goes up to 12. So 0 here to 12 up there. There we go. So let's have a listen there. Still nothing really. So let's go into the effects and put the tube distortion on first, and then we'll work through them as we go through like this. So you can start to hear some top end saturation distortion now. Some harmonics coming through in the top end. Let's have a go with the EQ now. So what this is doing is just pushing points up into the distortion. And you could tailor these to the notes you're playing or to where you want the character, the sound to pop out. So in my case, I'm getting a bit more mid-range in. So I've got the frequency set on the first one at 186 on the low mids and 1024. So about 1K for the upper mids. Just to give it some character. And the Q set at 60, the gains at 22 and 24. So yeah, it's quite drastic, but it's to push some frequencies out into the distortion. And then I'm gonna go through like this, because this is gonna be a typical way I'll make the sound. I'll put the compressor on now on multiband mode, and just bring the threshold down to like 3.2 there. You can see the settings. 4.1 ratio, the attack's at 90, the release at 90, the mix is full. So yeah, now we're really getting the top end come through, and we can hear that tube distortion. So if I just turn the tube off now, so yeah, you can see that. And if I just turn the EQ off, so it's giving it a lot more weight and presence. And what I'm going to do now is just show you on span. Before we put the filter on, I'm just going to show you what the frequencies look like. So you can see if I just bring this down, we've got a nice sine wave sub there. We can see that's going direct out. We haven't really got a lot of low mids here. On the second harmonic, as you can see, that's why I'm adding another one in. There's all the character and top end to the mid range, upper mids. In the frequency range, you can see that's all is coming through now. So yeah, let's get the noise oscillator in. So like I showed you with the files you can put into the folder. Choose. It shouldn't matter which one you choose if you put this on. Enables the pitch tracking basically for the noise oscillator. So if you tuned it, you can do that. So yeah, I do that. And what I've done is turned the pitch up by 21. And that just got me to, if I just show you, 21 seems like a random number actually, but there's that harmonic that I was on about there. So I'm actually playing in D sharp though. So what I'm going to do, because that's in B now, because I brought the notes down to D. So what I'll do is bring this down to 20, this pitch down another by 1, and this should get this low mid to A sharp, which is 7 semitones up. There we go, you can see that. So now it's going to be in tune. Okay, yeah, D sharp for the sub note, A sharp for that. So yeah, I'm just using this pitch going up in increments to get the sine wave of the low mid where I want it. So yeah, I was doing it in E and then dropped it down to D sharp. So let's carry on. I'm going to put I'll put a bit of this dimension on. I'm keeping the size really, 8 on the size and the mix at 8 as well. And I've put a little bit of this hyperdimension on, which I don't really use a lot, but the mix is really low. It's at like 7, unison's on 4. So it's just to give it a little bit of stereo width. But obviously, because the low mid and the sub's not going through to there, we're not going to be getting any of that on the low end. So yeah, a little bit more stereo width on that. And then finally, what I'm using is a high pass filter to cut off the low end from this chain. So then the sub is more clean with the low mid. It's not going to get blurred. And now that all comes through a lot cleaner. You can see there's a lot more space now in between the frequencies. That's where it's cutting off probably about 170 hertz. Let's have a look on the filter. 178 hertz, yep. The drive's up at like 10%, no resonance, no fat. On that, no pan. So yeah, that's all of the effects. Obviously, I've showed you LFO1. Let's have a look at LFO2. So this is shaping the low mid. It's over the same rate again, half, one half. Trigger mode, etc. You can see that. That's the shape. So what this is shaping again is the attack of how the sub and the low mid comes in, and the release of it. And it's giving it there. You can see it's like the stabby effect. Same here. This is like the stab for the mids and the upper mids and top end for the track of the sound. Sorry. So yeah, that's going to the from here to the low mid, the noise oscillator from like 0 to, we'll have a look at that. And this is starting at 44. And yeah, let's have a look at the matrix. So it goes up from there to like 32, 73. And there's the type, the mode. So yeah, that's getting us here. And then obviously once we've got all that, I'm using the formant filter to get the some more character into that mid-range. And here's where you can get a lot of different variations, as I'll show you when we have a listen to the other basses. You'll see the how just moving this. Obviously, you can get quite a lot of different variations to the sound here. So yeah, that's pretty much the bass. Now let's have a listen to that in context. We won't listen to those ones because that's got all the post processing. So yeah, that's where we're at the moment. And what I've just started with the post processing, what I'll do is I'll go through it all and kind of show you how, if you don't use the plugins I use, it's pretty basic. You can figure this out with any stock plugins. The transient shaper is not exactly necessary. You can see it's like really subtle. I'm just bringing the attack down by -8. That's it. Just because it's got quite a lot of attack, this sound. This is just me being quite precise and just bringing a little bit out before I saturate it. But yeah, other than that, it is going into an EQ. So this is just going to bring the sub up and just tame the low mid. That is literally all this was. Just to get a bit of a better balance to start off with. And then I've gone into the Saturn. So I'm using the warm tape mode for these. And if you don't have this, you could use, if you've got Ableton, you can use the splitter and just focus in basically on this range here. And then just like maybe use an EQ to drop this down by 6 dB. So I've split it at like 0 to 540 hertz and then 3,600 upwards. And I'm just reducing from 3,600 down by 6 dB just to tame the top end. So there's no saturation happening there. So it's just like an EQ essentially, that part. And then as you can see here, there's a little bit of drive on the warm tape mode, keeping the levels the same. And I've just boosted this region by a dB and added a bit of saturation. So it's just to boost it up a little bit and control it. So it's really like sort of focusing in the mid-range more. But it's subtle. It's not too aggressive, And also what that is doing is actually, clipping it off, stopping it going above 0 dB. So we're actually taming the peaks. We're shaving off the peaks there. And then I'm just adding a little bit more stereo width in. So it's really subtle. It's only 14%. And I've just used this preset I like to use called Short Verb SOI on the Bleas chorus. Bleas chorus, whatever that's called. Yep. That adds a nice, like, sort of 3D feel to the sound. And yeah, that is obviously got this filter on it. So it's not going to affect the low end. As you can see, I'm cutting it off at like 240 hertz or something. Is that maybe even like 2000, sorry, 2K. So yeah, it's quite a steep cut there. High cut, should I say. And then next it's Shaper Box. So this isn't necessary to the sound. This is just for a mixing. It's just to give it a side chain, basically, whenever it starts. At the start of a bar, it'll just get ducked. So we don't need to worry about that. That's not doing anything to the sound. And then finally, it's the mix EQ. So this is the one where I'll now kind of shape it in a mix to get it. This is like the last stage of EQ. And yeah, I will kind of just quickly go through the thought process behind this. So it's like cutting off the extreme top end. I'm bringing out some of the top end where I wanted to be a bit more precise with, that I dipped on Saturn, and I'm just removing a bit of the frequencies that can hurt your ears, sort of that 1, 2, 3K range. And you can see like they were going a little bit louder there. And then I'm boosting the character part of the sound, and this is by like 4 dB, 4 dB. So you can see there's like a trend here. It's like this sort of like wave, just to get a new balance of the frequencies. And then I'm dipping the low mids just to tame them. Bum, 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 bum. Let's have a look. And yeah, just splitting where the low mids will be and where the sub is. So I do this quite a lot, and it's usually around about the second harmonic. I'll be using like either a notch filter or more of like a higher amount of reduction in this area, just to create separation between the sub element and the low mids. And this works well, as you can see, creating separation in your sort of like final EQ, all throughout your EQs, really helps create space and depth to your sound. And it'll really pop through in the areas that you need it to more if you can focus it in on those areas. So yeah, I don't expect you to copy this EQ exactly, but kind of think about what frequencies really need and critically listen when you're making your sounds. And it's like sometimes these frequencies here, if you actually really listen to what they're doing, do they need to be there as much as they are? You don't need to reduce them as much, but maybe. But yeah, removing a bit can give some separation between the proper low mid that we've built in there and the character part of the sound. So yeah, that's the way I think of EQing. And finally, it's just a clipper to get the level up to just a little bit. It's 2 dB of clipping, well, gain, should I say. And yeah, what I do is I've just got this mode here on span, and I'll just solo this up for you. And yeah, I'm just trying to get it to about 0 dB. So I've just pushed it up on that clipper to get it there. With the sub, that is, and that's when using these settings. If you want to use those settings there, that's just one of the modes that I use. And I also use the fast mode, which I'll show you the settings another time. So yeah, that's everything for this sound. How to get this sound, and I'm just going to go over the other ones. So I'll just show you the notes again. It's D sharp, and let's have a listen. So yeah, literally, this was just a formant change. So that is literally all I've done. I've kept the exact same processing, and just gone into the filter and just moved the formant from like 9 to 24, and that's it. So yeah, if we go to this one here and just move the formant, I'll show you the different sort of sounds we could get with this now with the post processing on. So yeah, there's quite a few different things you can get there. Different variations. You can obviously try different formant filters. But yeah, that's basically how these sounds are made. And it's the same for this one here, over in this part here. Just got some different notes playing. And yeah, it's just another formant and cutoff change. So yeah, that's everything I wanted to go over today. But yeah, if you like the video, hit the like button. And if you want to see more like this, subscribe to the channel. And yeah, any recommendations or any sort of any help or extra help you need, just give me a message, leave a message in the comments. And yeah, if you want to support me, head over to Patreon, and yeah, it's £10 a month. Lots more production videos, exclusive tracks, etc., etc., etc.